Tempo. Fade has to slow down Shad as much as possible on the TA and hit his own initial item timings. It's just, the issue is, for RCY to carry the game, it doesn't feel like he has the greatest ways of connecting unless you get this overwhelming start. And Speed and Bignum kind of find EXP to scale up with RCY, because this is the trio that's going to make plays. You're not expecting a Terribly to really join in for some offensive plays. You're not expecting the Tiny as well, at least not until a core Tiny gets Blink, which is like a second item after Echo Saber for him. It's just a little bit slow, and I can see OG kind of punishing here if you're not too careful on Wildcard.
30 seconds to battle.
Let's see how they do it. Wildcard, they're trying to make their move up, but they're moving into the triangle, and they are going to lose that the Satir. Satai, however you want to pronounce the damn monster's name. OG. Go for a counter smoke now. The level 1 team fight's not bad from Wildcard, but it is still risky. You're up against Shaker Jakiro here. And they won't fight. It'll be a 2-for-2 trade. Nice and even. We do have the mid-ES from Stormer, Jonathan, against the Ember of RCY. I dare say this is certainly a favorable lane here for Storm.
That it would be. You have the inbuilt Slugger. It's not as much damage as it used to be. You're not playing into double impact either. Look at what Speed's doing, though. He's keeping his Satyr Convert here. He's just trying to sap some mana away. He's not going to keep it the entire time. Already just getting Divine Favored back to him. Yeah,
one use.
You burn mana, and one usage is, you know, it's enough to take away one cast of the enchant, maybe make you think twice if you want to go for Fissure. Gives you that little bit of wiggle room for RCY to try to play. RCY does end up with Chain Gang Ember, so he does start with Flame Guard. I'm expecting a 1-1-3 build normally. You could still go for Sleight of Fist. Snowball out from Daze.
He's calling for Snowball. Oh, he's got Snowball. That's why he's saying it. Okay. That's all right. We are going to have a quick pause, of course, as you can see. Speed is indeed taking that Satyr Mind Stealer back to himself. Just one usage is all he required. Yeah, burn one enchant totem charge with that mana pool. Very nice. We should, I guess, talk about the side lanes, John, because we've got time. Of course, Yamsun and Speed on the Tiny Chen combo are going to be up against Daze and Mixer on the Dawnbreaker and the Shadow Demon. This feels like a pretty dangerous lane, right? I was saying earlier Chen doesn't lose lanes very often, and chances are they are going to be able to sustain pretty well. But you can get caught off guard with the disruption to the Shadow Poisons, and of course, if you get hit by that Starbreaker into a Celestial Hammer after that combo, I could easily see deaths happening here for Wildcard up at top.
Yeah, I don't think you have too many ways of stopping Mixa from just getting Starbreaker off, unless, again, Speed gets a nice creep for himself. They have done a good job of at least just blocking the pull camp here for OG. No way to really try to rebalance the lane. And at the least, Yamsun, I mean, he'll get tanky as the game goes on. As long as Mix is not comfy enough to walk up with that Starbreaker, you are pretty fine. Level 3 is when things start to get spicy in that lane, though. I'm keen on seeing how much Speed can get out. And he does take the Satyr Convert, so he is popping out the Mana Brim, which is painful for Mixa, as you are very reliant in spells to kind of get that
They're
here
going
on the top
lane. Speed does avoid the final strike of the Starbreaker. It's a lot of damage, though, here on Speed, but he's going to be okay. Had Mixer landed the final hit, I would have certainly been first blood for the Dawnbreaker already, but Speed just standing still is what saved him in that instance.
Yeah, you don't have that control and movement until you get the shard. So it's very easy to just kite it out, even without something to break with, say, the Avalanche and Yamsun, which he does level up. Now, on the mid lane, again, you're starting to see a bit of an even time. Stormer is out of mana. Again, kind of trails back to that Satyr Convert, just draining that one cast. Does have the bottle up, though, so it is a little bit more playable now. RCY, again, does not get the early points. And Chains, it is a lot of right-click.
I was gonna say, I think he's close enough. RCY trying to play on the edge. Meanwhile, Speed getting tipped here. Oh,
Are you okay?
Why? Well, what's Speed done wrong? Just because of the draft, is it? What's Speed done here?
Maybe he's just being a nuisance for the mana rune, or I don't know.
Maybe they just don't.
I'm close to a new set.
You know what it is for
Good on you,
Speed, and
Speed.
he's had this ever since the DPC existed. Everyone picks on him because he's a YouTuber. Everyone picks on him, but what's he done wrong? He's just making guides, John. He's just making nice guides. You couldn't meet a nicer guy, by the way. I've never heard Speed say anything naughty to anyone.
No. He is quite a nice fellow.
He's a great
True to his
guy.
years in the NADPC, that he is. And he always takes those interviews well as well, this guy.
He's the reason I climbed MMR. Like, really, just following his guides, it was really that easy. Shout out to Speed. I mean, this is years ago, John, but shout out to him.
Yeah. And, well, again, you know, maybe they're just helping him get his sets up. RCY, a little bit of a mistake. He had the slight to try to poke and dodge. Is pushing the envelope quite a fair bit. And again, without double impact, you don't have that same presence against the Shaker. Especially with you maxing out Flame Guard, you're not blocking any of the damage coming in from Stormer. He's got the 0-2-2 build, a lot of output now on that Enchant Totem. And doesn't take too long for him to kind of leverage it onto RCY. You might actually be happier dragging that Satyr Convert down mid, just to always ensure there's no mana here for Storm to play with. But the damage has been done on that mid lane. And at least you're controlling top lane for Yamsen. Again, it's pretty awkward for Dawnbreaker and Shadow Demon to not play with mana. No early regen sources. Daze at least has a clarity to try to help his cause and hasn't really committed on the Disseminate or the Shadow Poison just yet. So he is just trying to hold out, see what he can do just with the Disruption alone. But it is, you know, a manageable lane for Yamsen because of that. A little bit behind in terms of CS now for Mixa. That last lane bot has been going pretty smoothly for Shad as well. Not too much pressure coming out from Fade. But Fade is just free farming. Like, this Terrorblade lane is surprisingly free. The combination and threat with tag team is pretty damn high. You're not able to glamp close as much on Kidaro to try to get that Liquid Frost dual bread combo to melt through the TB. And as long as that doesn't happen, again, with this early build-up for Fade, he is just going as a secondary core as well. He's queuing up basically carry Terrorblade items, Yasha, along with a Dragon Lance here. So it does look like he intends on scaling from that off lane, which, you know, I'm sure you're pleasantly happy about, Mikey, for the sake of Wildcard.
Always happy, Jonathan. Always happy. 1-0 so far for OG. Pretty close game, all things being said and done. I can't say the lanes are going one way or the other. This is a very even affair across pretty much all lanes apart from maybe the mid, but even then, it's pretty good. As top lane, they are going to jump Speed, but Speed going to be just fine. Walk away. No issues here for the Chen. Can just passively regen back up once again. Yeah, as I was saying, I think the one lane that's gone a little bit worse for wear is RCY's Ember lane. Only because he died once, really. Like, the CS isn't too far apart. But it is going to be a level 6 timing that's a little bit sooner from Stormer. And naturally, that is going to open up the opportunity for Stormer to try for another pick-off on the Ember before he hits level 6.
Yeah, you have that window for yourself. You have some decent support rotations as well if you can find the space to make that move across the map into that 6-minute power rune.
RCY is going to be a little bit careful now the way he wants to farm this. Because if he gets hit with the Echo into the double enchant, you're just dead. Even with the Flame Guard, looks like he's going to be alright. Scary times though. Stormstormer's already queued up the Blink. Understands what his team wants him to do. With the way he's been farming, John, it's probably going to take 4 minutes. Yeah, and they're coming in, and they've got creeps on top. RCY getting Echo. Beautiful rotation. But you saw that coming from a mile away. It was just a matter of time, knowing that RCY was stuck at level 5. And of course, 6-minute power runes now, very important. Bignum will at least steal it away. Regen rune will be picked up for himself, and he might actually survive because of it. He does get a very nice shards block. They won't have enough control with the regen going. But you got the Ember kill. That's what you really wanted anyway. They'll still be very happy on OG's side.
And they will be. And again, this overwhelming start for Stormer is really the big concern. There's a lot of value for this Earthshaker in this game. Having this tie-in later on as well, would say the blink timing lining up from Stormer. Add that in with Solar Guardian. I don't see how you can confer fight effectively on Wildcard until at least a blink save comes in from Bignum somehow, which we are a long way from seeing. So early tempo certainly in OG's favor so far. And you are finding decent farm here on Wildcard. Yamson's working that top lane well with protection of speed. Fade is still working that bot lane quite nicely into Shad as well. And again, you're running basically double carries here on the side of Wildcard with how you're looking to itemize on Fade. No utility, just Power Treads, Dragonlance, maybe a Manta. Maybe you go back for the pipe after Dragonlance, sure. And then you're just scaling up. So you are expecting a slower game from Wildcard. Even if RCY had a faster game, I'm not sure if you can make the connection anyhow. Because, again, your side lanes are just not built for it. Maybe the Tiny is, but without a blink rush on Tiny, that's also just hard to see. And OG can just kind of maximize that, right? Like, you just wait out the earlier timings of your TA. You wait for the levels to be up here on Mixa, which isn't too far off. Half a level now into that 6. Once you've got Solar Guardian, once you've worked your way into the blink here for Storm, or even not even waiting for the blink, just having Solar Guardian on could be enough to, again, apply that pressure onto the side of Wildcard. They have to be cautious about some of their objectives. We were talking about them pushing in with a Chen. I don't see that connection happening unless you just swing down towards Fade when Metamorphosis is up. Beyond that, you're probably not going to get that much of a siege effect here from the Chen, at least not before, say, the 10 to 12 minute mark.
Well, the thing is with this Chen, like, he's going to need his teammates to be ready to get these sieges going. Can't hope to do it on his own. Big echo from Stormer cleaning right up with the Ancients. Happy days, and just look at that, John. He's about 300 gold away from the blink now. I mean, this is going to be so scary for Wildcard to try and deal with. And you and I, we've had the pleasure of casting Stormer, Storm Spirit, rather Earthshaker is what I was meant to say. We've seen it many times in different teams, and I've got to tell you, it is a scary thing from this man. He is very good when it comes to this shaker.
And he is. Again, only 100 gold away from that big timing. Has the Solar Guardian to play with. So there is, in fact, you don't even need the slam in that point. Just blink and chant Fissure. You're going to buy enough time for the Solar Guardian on top. Likely enough damage as well to get the kills. I think for Wildcard, you're happy enough to at least get the slowdown in lane. Right, again, no contest for Yamson. Fade's been working the triangle and the extended jungle on the right side. They're starting to get some initial items in. Yamson's working towards that Echo Saber into the S and Y, and again, Dragonlance for Fade. And they are allowed to play a little bit greedy. It's just that it doesn't feel bad for OG because their earlier timings, again, their timings are a lot earlier here in comparison to Wildcard. So Blink's fully done now on Stormer. A minute until Slam is back up. You look for that connection with Solar Guardian if you even need it. And then you start to look at the triangle. I think that's one big part for OG to feel better about this game. Like getting leverage over this free farm that Fade in particular is getting. You've got to stall out the TV, make it really feel ultra greedy on the side of Wildcard to run these double cores. Hasn't been fully punished yet. But then at the same time, Wildcard can't really do too much anyhow, so you probably don't mind. At least amp damage for RCY. A little bit more output. Not the scariest without double impact, but it's something.
Looks like they're going to maybe find a freebie on Dignum. It's an ice path blocked away. Snowball is going to buy a bit of time here onto Stormer, but it really doesn't matter. Daze will secure the kill here on the Shadow Demon. But that's the Wildcard game plan. Just, you've got to buy time. You've got to greedy a draft. You can outscale them in the late game, especially with this TB. But you've got to buy the time. Thankfully, though, things are going pretty okay if you're Wildcard. The main concern, again, is the fact that Storm is way too far. He's smoked up, he's got Echo up, and he wants to go for a freebie. Just a free kill. Another freebie. Here we go again. Big. Gonna cop the Echo. We'll see you next time, Big. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, in the back-to-back, that's for support post TP. He's gonna have to walk back to wherever he wants to go. At least, you know, it's like what you're saying. It's like what we've been talking about for the few minutes. Your cores are farming. Fade's not stopping. Although he might be overstaying his welcome by a tad bit here, but he will lose meta soon as well. A little bit risky. Not gonna attempt Fate either on OG. But again, it's a matter of waiting for farm. Like, they're all focused bot. Yamsen's free farming top. Echo Saber now up on our pause 1 Tiny. So things are starting to come together. You've got the creep army for speed ramping up. Almost at the drums. So that siege potential does start to slowly become a reality here. Once you have a core to connect with. And yeah, you just want to take it slow. A bit of a swing up top though for Stormstormer.
Uh-oh. Yamson. You might need a +1 here though. You don't have Echo. You're going to need at least another hero. They'll bring in Daze. I'm not sure if that's going to be quite enough, but they have the Solar Guardian to fly in afterwards. And, well, that's what you're looking for, though. Yamson still surviving, still trying to buy some space for his team to get there. And the Sunder is going to be very nice from Fade. It'll allow Yamson a way out. In fact, a way back into the fight now. They'll go after Mixer. Mixer will die. Wildcard, they successfully defend their core time. In fact, they're looking for more. Kadara getting caught here by Bignum. They'll find a support, the cherry on top for their trouble. Very nice here from Wildcard as Daze will get the tip back.
Yeah, that is a pretty sick save out from Wildcard. Just a little bit slow on that disruption for Daze. It was post-Sunder. They couldn't stop that from coming in. You don't have enough burst damage just yet on your Shaker and TA, or Shaker and Dawnbreaker as well. So that entire idea falls flat. You really want to do that combo onto Fade. Take the opportunity up top instead. And again, for Wildcard, they even get the kill on the ideal hero at this point in the game. Giving that needed goal to RCY, having this Ember start to build up, him going into Mage Slayer severely drops the output of OG, like quite a fair bit, especially if you manage to, again, kind of poke onto Stormer here. So that works in their favor tremendously for Wildcard. No tier 1s falling yet. Bot did fall, not the most impactful tier 1 to lose. You're still hanging on to top. You've still got access to your triangle. Fade still farming uncontested. Mind you, same thing goes for the side of OG, which again leads to this feeling that you don't really care. While that fight happened, Shad's uncontested. No one checks the TA. The Desolator is just the Orb of Blight away into the Blink. So again, eventually, once you connect with the TA into those engagements, there shouldn't be any damage issues. And that, again, that should simplify it for OG, lead into the objectives they'd want, like, say, Roshan. Is that Deso is set to fly in. And I'd expect OG... You probably still wait for the Blink on Shad, but you can start to consider even more action here.
Meta? Fade? In fact, it was already popped. Never mind. It's the illusion tricking me there, John. Nothing lost here for Wildcard. Line's being drawn towards the top lane here from OG, so it looks like they want to try for a kill into the tier 1 top tower, and they are going to see speed. Easy one without the Echo needing to be committed here for Stormer, but he's going to commit it because he doesn't want to waste any time. Doesn't want the rotations coming in, and here they come, but it's not going to amount to anything. And that I can also agree with as well. Just don't give them the opportunity to save, because you saw what happened last team fight. Just get the job done. Yamson, though, this could be scary for the Tiny. They've got the TA around, though he doesn't have a blink to break the gap. In fact, the Shaker, Stormstormer, probably a bit too much damage, but this disruption is going to buy time into the Solar Guardian. They'll take down Bignum. They have lost Stormstormer, but they may find Yamson for their trouble, though no. A nice avalanche. Stormstormer, or Yamson rather, does go down. Kadara also falling. They'll keep going, trying for Fade now on the TB. And Fade, he'll run, but he can't hide. Mixer's got him. Daze will secure the kill. They even want more. RCY stepping in with the chains to try and save speed from going back to the graveyard. But a pretty decent fight here for OG, finding a 2-for-3 trade. There was some moments where it was a little bit messy, but you kind of saw the game plan, John. And next time, you're going to have the blink on this TA. Like, Shad, once he has his blink up, Yamson just disappears.
And he does, just like a bit of magic that we tend to see from those TAs. Again, we'll take a look at the replay. A little bit of an early commitment out from Stormer, but still works out. A staggered response out from the side of Wildcard, a very prolonged fight. You are seeing some of the ideas from Wildcard, like that sustain, the healing they are getting out from the Chen with the Sunder option on hand. Can provide some weird angles in to try to turn around on these fights. But it just feels like none of your heroes are fully ready. Yes, they can do some damage. They can try to stall They do have some output to clear out some of these softer targets when threats are down, but you just need more time. You know, Fade doesn't have the same items popping up for him as RTA does. You know, neither does Yamsun as well. Like, you're not at the point where the damage is really overwhelming on either one of these heroes. And this is the time you were talking about for OG. Just get the tree items up for your TA. Blink Dagger flying in now. You can start to consider another team fight into Roche, or just straight up going into Roche. Stormer starts it already, and it's not going to take long. Wildcard, under team fight presence isn't amazing. They're just going to have to take this tier 1 bot as compensation, but you can't really contest because of how this draft has worked out. You just hope for scaling, hope for farm, and hope for space here.
What we do, quick Roshan from OG now. The draft being played very well by OG. Nothing really going wrong here in this game 1 thus far, apart from maybe one team fight up top. But they rectify it pretty quickly. Smoked up now after the Roshan down. Of course, they want to hunt down kills, and they might find Fade. Bignum is there around him as well. They continue running south. This will be a very nice couple pickoffs for OG. They'll find Bignum first, though, and that will mean Fade does have a chance to escape. So not the worst loss in the world. For Wildcard, they'll just give up their tusk to protect the TB. But this, it doesn't have to stop is my point at this stage, John, for OG. Like, you can really just keep fighting if you want to. Obviously, they're going to take time to hit some creeps while they're going. But you've still got all your spells up. Like, the thing is, if Stormer finds anyone and just jumps in for an Echo into the Solar Guardian, chances are no one's really surviving that.
Yeah, and it just goes so damn fast, and you do have that backing of Shad with the blink. It can be easier for him to try to connect when they're trying to make these plays on the side of OG. Mind you, if it's across the map, of course, you could still end up with issues. We've seen issues. At the least, Yamsun shouldn't be falling to that combination. It does take Shad to be there as well to kind of clear out this Tiny, sitting at 3k HP for free.
Yamsun.
But that craggy exterior plus...
This dangerous position for Yamsun to try and farm in. Luckily for him, Speed's going to be the one that gets caught. The Speed putting his body forward does allow his Tiny to get away. Does also force out an Echo committal, so if you're OG and you choose to get a little bit greedier here going for the tier 2, there is a chance the Wildcard could defend now that the Echo is down. But it still doesn't feel like they're looking too confident about it. The thing is, like, you're going to at least need this blink on this Tiny. He's opted to go for a Sanjin Yasha first, which is also fair enough, but you don't really have the plays to try and force fights right now without that blink up. There's a blink now on Bignum. That'll help. But I don't think it helps quite as much as Yamsun just being able to jump the support and blow one of them up before the fight really starts.
You've done quite well.
And it also approaches that point where you have to ask yourself, will you even have the damage, right? It's not a crash landing Tiny either. So you don't have that extra damage from the toss. And that just means maybe, you know, it's the right, the timing's just done. And the blink utility is still good in terms of setting up, maybe getting some toss backs at that point. We'll see. It does look like the Sanjin Yasha piece is fully completed. And they'll try to sneak around with smoke. They do have Metamorphosis ready. Full Hurricane Pike up on Fade, along with Mage Slayer up in RCY. Just need to find a meaningful connection to start to try to, again, hit that stall here on the side of Wildcard and stem some bleeding. Get something back after just being pretty passive, being pretty responsive.
They're getting close to Shad. They're seeing Kadaro instead, though, so Shad's going to probably be able to get out of this, unless he wants to fight. He's looking at Speed, I think, here on the Chen. Speed? No, he's going to blink away. Darcy, why, though? He's jumped right into the Tiny. Shad in a bit of danger. He does have that secondary life, but he needs to buy some time for his team to get here. He's still alive, however. The refraction charges. He will get his second life now, but look at Stormer. He's waiting for the moment to jump in. It's not here yet, though. He's still waiting, but there it is. The Echo committed. It's not really that much, though. The damage is lacking. Maybe Wildcard can keep this going. Though Shad will get away. Stormer, he gets caught here by Yamsun. He will go down. Mixer does get out with the Celestial. In fact, the toss in onto Bignum cost them a kill. Yamsun to get tipped for the freebie. Here comes Daze from the left side, trying to find a quick disruption to the Purge, but he can't find any. It's a good fight for Wildcard this time around.
And it is. They managed to, again, fracture out OG. The response out from OG just a little bit slow, and they managed to work their positioning well. They don't overly clump up on that ramp. There's a little bit of stall as well, where the Echo was just a few seconds off when the Solar Guardian fully connects from Mixa. So you don't have that instant connection to try to tie them all into that area and kind of miss out. Again, just a really great splitting apart from the side of Wildcard, punishing the side of OG, just kind of hanging a little bit far forward. And mind you, there's no vision to be worried about. They are in control of the game, so you can't fault OG for kind of having that confidence, but then you need all of these tools together. The fact that Shad couldn't utilize that first life to do damage was really what held back OG. Without that TA getting the right clicks off, there just isn't enough output here.
We are looking at a bit of a replay. The Echo, it was, I think, a little bit mistimed from Stormstormer. He didn't really connect at that perfect moment where you would have had everyone just bunched up together. So he did miss out on a lot of damage, sadly, for the Shaker. The Aftershock, I don't think we even connected on one. So it is what it is. Still an AK lead for OG. Rotations, though, from Wildcard. They're going to look for some freebies in Kadaro. Oh, that's a nice ice path. Kadaro making life a little bit hard now for Fade, who just wants to get away. He has Sunder. He'll try to force stuff down to the low ground, but he's still looking pretty screwed as he gets to Sunder just in time. Stormstormer is still going to walk out of there. The misses on Fade. He's forced the fight now. Trying to go for the SD. Does take him down. A 1-for-1 on the supports. Might be another Kadaro. He's getting body blocked by the creeps of speed. Though it may cost them Fade. Getting jumped on again. Echo committed. Stormstormer back for revenge before he ends up dying. But here comes Yamsa, trying for Shad, moving in onto the TA. He's got Mixer there to help him. Can they man fight? It looks like they just may. Yamsa, a couple hits from dying, but he gets shut down. He'll give up his own life for it, a Mixer. Mixer can do nothing. RCY with a double. It's a full team wipe for Wildcard. And you look at the goal change. It's a pretty big swing.
That was a shining example of why Chain Gang is such a menacing facet. Just constantly being held back, buying that space for Fate to get further and further away, buying that time for him to try to play with that Sunder, to get the regen off, to turn around, use his illusions to find a kill, get some reflections off. And this Chain Gang from RCY is just doing a ton of work. As we're seeing again in a little bit of a replay as to what happened there. You had that great setup with the ice path and Macfire. Maybe not the best direction. You would have wanted to block the ramp a little bit harder to clean up more, but again, he manages to get the Sunder off, and the deeper chase when they're all clumped up, RCY with the Chain Gang just holds him back. They can't gap close onto Fade. He manages to get the cleanup, taking more and more utility away from the side of OG. And dragging them further back than you'd want. Speed as well with some beautiful micro to get the blockages off. Again, just because of the Chain Gang, you're able to stand further back here for RCY. You have to take the risks on Stormstormer to try to equalize, but by then it's just not enough with Yamson connecting in the end. And OG, you have to be so cautious about those kinds of clump ups. In the same way that you're looking for Wildcard to clump up, Wildcard's also able to punish you when you're committing so hard when you've got the blinders on, just chasing in some narrow paths. This Ember is a menace.
You're starting to get into some scary timings as well for Fade. Fade working toward that Skadi next, and that's when the TA starts to feel really bad. Shad, nice blink away, but is not going to be able to save Daze, who will have to get left behind. So at the very least, Shad avoiding the shards flying out from Bignum. But yeah, Wildcard, they're in a very nice position now. RCY doing some heavy lifting that last team fight. And like I said, once the Skadi's up on Fade, it feels like he's the real carry at that point. And the TA, it really doesn't enjoy the Skadi timing of the TB at all.
No, it certainly doesn't. It does feel like this BKB for Shad has to be online ASAP. 500 gold away can make the world of difference here, along with even the BKB up on Stormstormer. So you will have some protection at the very least from the control. But it's still a lot of factors to play into. It's all of this healing coming out with speed on top, with a full mech up. Now it's starting to get into the Aurora game as well, with the Vlads to come in next. Right, like these fights, if they go too long, if you don't find the backline, there is a ton of sustain from Wildcard. That can just make it so damn awkward for you to try to take that engagement too far. on the side of OG. We'll see them try. They're smoked up. Roshan is up. Wildcard should be aware that this is going to be the next big objective. They haven't really gotten the vision set up around the pit. It will provide a bit of a window here for OG to try to sneak this one for free.
No sneaking around with the roar. BKB now up on Shad is why they want to go now. They haven't seen it yet on Wildcard. It's a big timing here for the TA. This fight has to go well, though, I think, for OG. Otherwise, Wildcard might just completely take over. It feels like they already kind of have at this stage. The Shards are going to fly out onto Shad. Shad going to jump in onto Fade. Quick melt strike, but a nice Hurricane pushback and a root onto the TA, but they do disrupt. Speed's doing some real good work here as well on these Gen Creeps. You've got to be so cautious. He's just being such a nuisance with whatever he's got. Shards keeping the vision up as they'll block Kadaru in now. Echo, Stormer! He's taken down Bignum. Fade almost gone to boot, but the Sunder is there in time. Mixer needs to back off. Meanwhile, Daze going into the ethereal form, trying to walk away out of here. Going back on a Fade. Fade will continue to walk away as they'll move in now onto Shad, who's got the BKB going, trying to kill the TB. He does get it, and now Yamsub, can he carry without the TB around? I think the answer is no. He'll go down, but here comes RCY. RCY will try to do it his damn self. Mixer gonna intervene. Those chains really hurting as RCY looking for the slide, but no! He misses just out of range. He would have just had enough time as well before the refraction came in, but he doesn't get it. At the very least, no Roshan to happen. It's too risky.
It is a pretty big win for the side of OG. And it's just down to whether or not you can find that initiation you're looking for. I think a couple of the issues here for OG is just a little bit in target prioritization. We saw Shad have to reset in that fight. He had to sit through, wait for the craggy exterior debuff to fade away, because the damage is just completely blunted with that innate. Like, even the output, you're already dealing with a high armor here in Fade. Having, if you get a couple of hits onto that Tiny by mistake and try to focus on anyone else, your output is just severely compromised. So it is a little bit tricky to try to look for these angles in, but when you do find them, you can get that reset with these BKBs. It does become a lot easier. Inside of Wildcard, again, it feels like you are just banking on RCY. This Ags of his has to come in. Once you've got the Ags with added cast range, added speed on Remnants, being able to get these non-committal chains in between these fights just becomes so much easier. And that's really the big tool here that you'd want. It'll allow you to sit through some of the BKBs as well, or force them open a little bit earlier from the threat of the chain alone. You are keeping the vision game up in that pit, and again, that full Ags up for RCY. So contesting something like Roshan with Chain Gang becomes a lot easier here.
And very scary for OG. BKB on Mixer. Roshan already half HP. They'll keep tabs on it with these TB illusions though. OG understand this Roshan just so important for the health of this game. It really feels like a coin flip right now between Wildcard and OG. It's about a 50-50. DOTA Plus kind of agrees at the moment. 48 to 52. Wrap around. There is a power rune spawning in 10 seconds as well. Don't forget, and they could get lucky on either side here, though it seems like Wildcard could get a little bit luckier with their position as RCY gets caught, but the snowball is going to buy a bit of time. RCY, he's out of there. Big Solar Guardian flying through as well. Yamsa trying to retreat a little bit. Meanwhile, Mixer jumping in. But Mixer needs to look back and escape as Daze will go down. And RCY jumping back in on the Ember, looking for more support. He might have Kataro. Meanwhile, Mixer in the middle of nowhere will go down on his own. Wildcard looking at a 5v4 now as they'll move in onto the Shadow Demon. Daze, he just brought back, but he's going right back to the graveyard. 2 down, no buyback. Make that 3 as RCY. What did I tell you, John? RCY, he's doing all the heavy lifting here for Wildcard.
And he is. He's got the output. They've managed to threaten now onto the high ground, not even waiting for Roche. They know it's a risky spot now for OG. No slam to worry about. The damage here on Chad just isn't high enough, Chad.
Oh. These chains are just destroying this TA. This is so devastating. They just last an eternity.
Yep. It's a talent spikes. Level 15 plus 1, plus 60 damage on it as well. And the non-committal. Like, you've got the reach for the slight and just toss a random remnant forward, get the chain gang going. And it's just, again, it's just crazy what an Ember can do with his facet. It's just nuts. Now you've got your full short along with the ads. All the control you could ask for in the world. They take the full set of mid-racks. They can look for Roshan, and they are stepping into it. They do have the damage here. There is a lot of output now with Yamsen and Fade, of course. And that's Yamsen as well, without that full Scotty we were talking about. Went back for full SNY.
Scan is there. They're trying to close the gap. The TA, is he just going to jump in, Shad? No, he won't. He'll reveal himself, though. Yamsen's going to jump in, and RCY, he got the chains to lock him down. Shad needs to look to retreat, but the chase is on now. This is not the fight OG wanted. It's too dangerous. They need to run, but RCY, look at him chase down the TA, looking for Shad. He'll miss out this time. They'll settle for Kadaro, Echo, Stormstormer. He finds Bignum. A 1-for-1 on the supports, but now Stormstormer getting chained up, forced to BKB. He'll get out of it. RCY looking for another. We'll find Daze, godlike now on the onto the tier 2 bottom tower, and keep in mind, John, Fade still has the 8s. So they can just choose to go for tier 3 towers once again if they want. They've still got plenty of time in the meta as well.
Yeah, nothing to be concerned about. Again, Slam is down again for the high ground siege. No Solar Guardian for a little bit of time. So you have a big window to access now on the side of Wildcard. You have got to find a way to pin down RCY or the backline.
It's so scary, man. It's like he's got it back in 4 seconds as well. He can just perma-chain it. Like, Shad can't get close. It's scary. That'll be 2 racks is up now for Wildcard. They're just 1 away from activating those mega creeps. They will play it safe once again. Nice conservative gameplay from Wildcard. Not looking to risk anything against OG.
Yeah, I mean, no need to, right? Like, you wait out the next Metamorphosis to be back up. You have a lot of time still left in the Aegis. You're going to hit the Scotty timing for Fade relatively soon here as well. So you might as well get all these fresh items up. Heck, even Yamsen, I believe, has his full butterfly almost done. 500 gold off in that farm. For OG, does feel like their major issue is just that lack of hard control. Like, once you commit with Slam and Solar Guardian, that's it. That's your entire complement out already. And it just makes it hard to get that chain control onto something like RCY's Ember. And this Ember doesn't even have something like a BKB here. You know, RCY does not have anything defensive. He's just been outplaying. He's been positioning very well in these fights. And OG, that's a problem. Even these traps with a silence, with a shard up and Chad, isn't really buying them enough time. RCY just knows where to be. Free shard now up for speed. Just a little bit more utility out with the ancients that he can pick up now as well. And your backs are against the wall in OG. After such a strong start, after this overwhelmingly good start from Stormstormer, you're stuck in an impasse. And I do like that Stormstormer is going back for that Shivas just to have some healing reduction, considering how much speed is pumping out in the middle of these fights with the Hand of God, plus the mech, plus the Vlads as well. This can help you with some of that sustain issue you're facing up against Wildcard. But again, for Wildcard, you don't need to wait. Meta's back up.
Got that Scotty too. They're not waiting for the Shivers on RCY, but they don't look like they need it. In fact, Daze, he's in the middle of nowhere. RCY already chaining up 2 in the back as well. This is already pretty scary for OG. Trying to retreat. There's your echo from Stormstorm, but it's only on 1. They're just trying for the Tusk at the moment. It's looking pretty desperate for OG and Spade with the Sunder, keeping everyone alive. Meanwhile, the TA, she needs to run, but RCY, he's on the chase again. There goes Shad. Shad is gone. Triple for RCY. He's going to look for a rampage, I think, here, John. But he might die in the process. Big chains out, jumps back in. Balls of steel. Ultra kill for the Ember. Looking for the final, but they call GG. They've seen enough. A Wildcard. Well, would you look at that, John X?
It's a game a little bit. The game does get a little bit tough to play. At the least, Stormstormer should be pretty free to zip in and out unless you accidentally get caught in the grasp or just run right into Bignum without stunning him. Those are your main concerns, but beyond that, there is still a time here for the Storm to be that aggressor, to connect with, say, your Bat Rider here to kind of make some plays. So that's what we need to see from OG. Overall, though, I'd lean towards Wildcard's draft just slightly. I think there's a lot that the offlane DOTA still provides, especially in a game where it's not really counteracted. And that pressure this time from Fade, this early presence, should buy enough time for Yamsen to get that ramp up on the Abaddon that we tend to see.
Oh, very interesting, John. We're a bit split here because I prefer the OG draft, so it's going to be a fun game for us. Game number 2, OG backs against the wall. Wildcard looking for a quick 2-0 victory. OG looking to get this to a game 3, of course. Lives are on the line here for Wallachia Season 5. I think OG's draft is nicer, much easier to execute as well, comparatively to say Wildcard. But we'll have to see what Wildcard can get done. It seems like one of those games where the laning stage is going to be so much more important than it usually is. If OG get off to a good start, they could really just start running over you in this mid game. Shad's going to chase down Bignum a little bit. Won't be too much damage though. Bignum should be perfectly fine. And I guess I do really like the Storm last pick as well into the Bane, because it's just nice to have someone who can zip right in the back and find this Bane Fiend's gripping somebody. Going to be very nice for OG, I'm sure. We are seeing Speed do the exact same thing in the mid lane, by the way. Leaves the Satyr Mind Stealer for one quick mana drain, and we'll leave it, we'll bring it back straight away.
Just try to make things a little bit awkward for the first set of your mana pool here on Storm. This is going to hurt a little bit more just because you did get the extra bounty rune up on Wildcard, so you do get access to the faster bottle for RCY, a slightly later bottle for Stormer, which will allow RCY to just poke a little bit more with that Shadow Strike and Scream of Pain, which again gives the Quap just that early advantage to not worry about the mana commitment that Storm will want to make to harass back. Water Rune control, pretty important here, but I don't see a contest coming in even at 4 minutes perhaps. It has felt like it's been very focused on the side lanes. 6-minute rune is certainly something to worry about. But again, RCY at least has that inbuilt mobility once he has a value point in Blink to try to be cheeky if a support can swing by. We'll see if they can start to pull ahead. Already a good time for RCY with the 3 denies. And again, for Stormer, I mean, his bottle's not too far off, a creep or 2 away, but he is out of mana. So you just see the small impact Speed has. Just dragging that Satyr Mind Stealer. 1 cast is enough. You get more spell usage out for RCY. And again, because of that stalled out bottle timing, because it has to still be ferried out after you get the gold, you feel pretty good here for RCY. You have a little bit more leverage to play with.
You do. You have the go-ahead here from Stormer. It's like Wildcard need a little bit more time. Bottom lane's been a little bit on the annoying side for Shad on this TA. Bignum just abusing the Nightmare very effectively against the TA, and you don't really think about the facet of Bane much, like this Sleepwalk facet, but it is kind of annoying in laning stage. Because you can just make him walk the opposite way, and right now they'll chase him down, in fact. Looking for a kill attempt. They do have Mystic Snake, but they need to get through the Refraction, which they won't be able to do in time. But like I was saying, even the Sleepwalk isn't too bad of a facet in the laning stage, because you can just force him to walk the wrong way, and just be annoying, just be an absolute menace.
It can even lead to some good saves. I think we've seen some circumstances where a Nightmare onto the high ground away in that invulnerability state for that 1 little second does do a lot of work. You actually get enough room out for Bignum as well to snag away a Water Rune. At least Stormer again has a fresh bottle, so it's not as nasty, but it's certainly starting to make this lane matchup again pretty painful for that Storm Spirit. RCY now with 2 points in the Shadow Strike, can't trade back. Again, looking back at that bot again, like you were mentioning for Bignum, a lot of utility with that Nightmare. Fade now at level 2 does have that value point in the grasp, so there are some connections to make with a good Nightmare setup. And it isn't too hard to try to look for that damage early on. You have to be so cautious once this DOTA starts to get into double null, start to work her way slowly towards something like the Nature Hammer. Things can start to get a little bit tougher. Like, there's no threat from Kidaro. There's no real way of melting through Fade's mana. With Shadow Word, it doesn't feel too effective. And there's not really much you can do outside of trying to poke out Bignum here.
You can try and find over the Healing Lotus, but they have Nightmare if they need it. They'll use. Still going to be taken straight away by our Warlock, and looks like Shad is going to be able to take it away. So nice little pick up here for Shad. Meanwhile, top lane, Chase is on for Speed, and Daze Well, he stands his ground, ends up dying, nothing he could really done. Speed, he's the best +5 at Wallachia after all, John. He'll find first blood.
And he is. And again, he's been showing that off well. This Chen, that Tidebound were banned consistently against him yesterday, just sliding through from OG twice over now.
Got the grasp available here with this DOTA. They're not using it yet. Shad's still trying to run with the refraction. Now the grasp surely to come out, but no, they don't even need it. They don't even need it. Fade, understanding the limitations of his hero, just holds on to it, and Shad ends up going down. A very important pickup now for Wildcard.
Strong kills to have already very early on, slowing down that tempo we're seeing from Shad. And we were talking about that bot lane last time around being even in farm. This time it is going to be in favor of Fade. Yeah, in terms of CS, they are still fine, equally, but just losing out early on, bleeding out all of this EXP, bleeding out this extra bit of gold to Fade is a cause of concern. Again, look at the rune control coming out from Wildcard. Another deny out from Speed, no top up for Stormer, forced to walk back. RCY hits level 5, has a really easy ride into that 6th threat now. And they're just working off these lanes beautifully. And maybe the top lane is the one that's, not the most aggressive. It is pretty passive, but it's Abaddon into two heroes who want to spam spells onto him. So Yamsen's just not concerned, having that self-dispel on hand. Your bot lane, again, you're seeing that aggression ramp up from Fade. And with this start for Stormer, and RCY last game had to wait a little bit longer to play. This Quap is not going to be waiting too long, especially if Power Rune access is just given for free again towards Wildcard. It does start to get concerning. Again, he's just got a free lane for a good half a minute until a minute now. You're forced to jungle early on the Storm. It's going to be a fast Sonic Wave, and that's going to be a kill threat onto the sides if you're not too careful. At the least for OG, you did have wards. They are set to expire, so not too many wards into the 6, but you could at least, understand that eventually RCY will look to swing with a free lane he's been given.
It becomes Bignum to be even more annoying here in the Bane. So one of the things you can do is these Banes, just when you know Stormer has to jungle, you just follow him. Just follow him and be a nuisance. Throw some nightmares out, maybe brain sap a little bit, as they are going to find Kadaro. They've got a nightmare if they need it. Bignum eventually will pop it, and that'll be surely an easy kill if RCY wants to commit Sonic Wave. He won't need to. Very nice. He'll hold out.
Yep. And they're finding this early tempo quite nicely.
Oh, they get lucky on RCY as well with the power room.
Yeah.
Just nothing going right for this Storm this game thus far. Poor old Stormer. At least he has some stacks to be taken here with Days. Bit of catch-up farm.
And he does. He only has the one Revenant to throw out for trying to burst it, though. So majority might actually end up on Days. He is getting a little bit of extra mana at the very least, where the clarity's being delivered. And there you go. Some catch-up for you, but again, the damage has been done. Top 2 networks so far, RCY and Yamsen. Having the freest lane on that Abaddon. Wouldn't expect a Radiant's timing to be too stalled out at this point. Fade again, just already into double null. Going into that Meteor Hammer, where tower pressure starts to ramp up. Easy setup with a Bane on hand into Gorgon's Grasp. A lot of chain control you can rely on here for Fade. And a slow start for OG. It becomes almost the same game that Wildcard played last time. You have to just stall out as much as possible. Try to not bleed out resources. Get a ramp up somehow onto the Storm.
He's sticking around for the Shrine of Wisdom, but it's very hard against Yamson. He's about to die, and even the Firefly burning him out with these neutrals, he might just get denied as a very nice Sonic Wave lineup from RCY. The patience from the Quap, finding a 2-for-0 special. OG, bad signs already, John. I mean, this draft of OG, you're looking for a big mid-game timing. You're looking at roughly that 15-20 minute mark to get really aggressive, but they're already 0-5, and you look at the 3 top net worths on the net worth graph right now, it's all Wildcard Gaming. They want a good fight of some sort to try and turn this back the other way, but I think Wildcard, as long as they just sit back and continue the farm game, don't make any silly mistakes, you'll be right.
Yeah. Again, they haven't made any mistakes so far. Anyhow, I think they've been really good at just working the side lanes fairly passively. Still have rune control their way. A nice regen now for RCY to still enable that aggression. Sonic Wave just about 50 seconds away. and you're getting everything you could ask for. Again, free farm bot, free farm top, a little bit more of a contested time for Shad. A lot of activity out from RCY. The creep army from Speed setting up on mid.
He's running very low on mana, and he might be dead! The scream hit! They'll get the deny. Daze had no choice, he had to do it. Nice deny here from Daze. Stormer though, not gonna be too happy with that death, and RCY would at least hand the tip over to Daze. Why not? But not what you want to be seeing from your mid-storm. Not at all.
No. And again, the micro from Speed is just so on point. He's still keeping that army around here. Just having all access to all of this is just so much. Like, he burned just enough mana out from Stormer to keep him stuck. Again, this Storm is just forced to stay in the jungle. RCY has a Sonic Wave here.
Oh, he's got a clean kill. Daze not going to make it. RCY picking up his 4th kill already.
Next time.
Oh boy, Wildcard, they're looking pretty confident here, John. They are looking very, very confident. I don't know, OG. I mean, again, their timing isn't roughly 10 minutes or so, but geez, they've got to find some farm. They've got to find some catch up real quick.
That they do. Again, try to stem the bleeding. At least right now, you're not looking at massive commitment onto the sides from Stormer.
It's Speed. You think that's a neutral drone? It's Speed's creep. Speed's just following him in the jungle. Like, how annoying is this guy on Chen? Like, he's just following the Storm in the jungle and not letting him freely do anything because RCY's nearby and ready to jump whenever. Like, look at it. Storm is scouted again. Meanwhile, mid Kizaro's been jumped. Kizaro looking to retreat. They have the Sonic Wave though, and of course that is going to mean an easy kill for R. They'll try to zip in for Yamsa, but that's wishful thinking. He has the borrowed time. At least they'll be able to find some Chen creeps. Some relief here for Stormer. But they've got complete access to all the power rooms here, Wildcard. They're giving nothing to the mid-storm. It's very clean gameplays. They'll even get a Nightmare, and there's no mana here on Stormer. He needs 2 seconds for the Soul Ring. He'll get it just in the nick of time. Kadara now going to move in with the Fatal Bonds. Will force them away. In fact, there might be a death or two if Yamsun isn't too careful. But they are going to be all okay. They'll survive and make their way up. But now 0-7 with a 5k advantage sitting the way of Wildcard.
And again, it's just in their complete control. This is why we saw Tidebound consistently ban the Chen against Wildcard in that series.
They're going to try and at least find a quick Medusa kill. They might have it too because Fade is out of mana. Nothing he can really do here. He'll continue trying to run. Hand of God is going to fly out from Speed, but not going to be enough. He is gone. And that'll be the first kill on the board for the side of OG. And this is what I think they really should be doing, is finding any pick-off they can get, because all of them are worth quite a bit of gold.
That they are. It gives you a galvanized stack at last here for Storm as well. So he hasn't been able to get any activity and just lost this level up galvanized as well.
Oh, I see why. No Sonic Wave, but he jumps in for a scream. Stormer getting low, is able to zip away, but it looks like RCY could look for another jump, but the mana pool's too low. He won't risk it. The thing is as well, when you're 6-0-0 as the mid-quap, like, the one thing you don't want to do is dive too deep and give kills away. Because he's going to be worth a crap ton of XP and gold on this quap right now.
Yeah, just want to shove them away, make it a little bit awkward.
Kidaro?
Maybe a freebie onto Kidaro.
No, it certainly is a freebie. He was just trying to deny the power rune here from the quap. Sadly for him, the power rune spawns bottom anyway, so there's a shield rune waiting for RCY if he wants it. Now on his 7th kill of the game. And Speed's so annoying, man. He's just making creeps, just forcing you away from this triangle. Like, you saw Mixer, he was trying to take the Ancient stacks, but then you have this damn Warpine Raider shows up out of nowhere, John, and he knows he can't stick around because they're just going to dive him. Mid lane, Stormer's now been caught, but they don't have Fiend's Grip. He should be okay, but he will not be getting the power root.
No. No, he isn't. And again, this micro from Speed is just insane. Like, this is some crazy stuff. Very consistent across the board. Having that presence on the map. They've bought so much time for Yamsun as well. Like, this full Radiance on our Abaddon going to be coming out right before the 14-minute mark.
This is risky, Fade. He could turn. He's got Stone Gaze up. RCY is currently hunting Stormer though, so they should be safe down at bottom for now. Fade, he's not that easy to kill when you haven't got the Storm to zip in and have that extra amount of damage. We'll have the Rod of Atos rather soon on the Medusa, so more utility to come from Wildcard. In the meantime, of course, OG just trying to buy themselves time to catch up in this game. They're getting somewhat closer to Stormstorm having a Kaya up. You are working towards the Deso Blink on Shad so we can at least get involved. But they've just got to try their best not to run into anyone. Look at this, in the triangle. They're going to find Mixer for a second. They won't really see him, though. So instead, the rotation towards the far left side of the map where Mixer is currently going. They have Fiend's Grip in 5 if they want it. Shrine of Wisdom going to spawn up. Mixer, he's going to be able to escape for now as Kadaro drops the Golem. It's only on Yamsun, though. They're just trying to take the Shrine away. A lot of heroes here from OG to try and contest this is Mixer dropping low. They're going to try and aim for Bignum, but the Fiend's Grip. Bignum's got it. Stormer, they're going to zip in and cancel it off, but now they've got Shad in a position that he doesn't want to be in. Shad is down. Tips out here from Yamsun as they'll also find Daze. And even just that 2 seconds of Fiend's Grip. Too much for Shad.
Yeah, way too much. And a really deep dive coming out there from the side of Wildcard. OG not able to capitalize in that position. And yeah, you're just rolling over this game. You even get the Shrine of Wisdom out for the side of Wildcard. You get that little bonus for yourself. You're denying that fast leveling up for the supports. At least, again, they've already gone past the point where level 6s are up. But it's a slow ride into, say, the Blink for Days here, into that Blink Deso timing as well for Shad. You're losing a lot of map space.
He's on a mission, RCY, forcing Kadaro to TP away. 8-0-1 now is the quad. You know what the worst thing is, John? Is if Wildcard win this game and we get to the standout player after, or hold that thought, Shad down bottom being bullied away by RCY. What I was trying to say is I can't pinpoint a standout if Wildcard win this game, right? Because the obvious answer is RCY. The less obvious answer is Speed, because Speed's just made it impossible for you to come back with the farm game. Like, he's let nobody farm. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Daze in trouble, looking for a TP, but a nice nightmare from Bignum. We'll put a cancel to it as they're looking for more. They found Shad. They've got him locked down. Meteor Hammer is not going to connect in time. Body box coming in from RCY, though, doing a lot of work because he's just trying to get away. Sonic Waves up in 5 seconds. They might just keep diving him. They won't. Like I said, if RCY dies, it's just so much XP and gold. You don't want to throw that away to OG.
No, you certainly don't. I will say, back to that little discussion you were having a while ago, Mikey. I think we should just give it to Speed. He's been a menace. Like, you have to ban his Chen.
They've got to win first.
But if they do, I'd say Speed.
Yeah.
He's just done too much work. Again, we saw why Tidebound. Now we see fully why Chen was just consistently banned by Tidebound yesterday up against Wildcard. And this is tremendous gameplay coming out from Speed. Easy content for the YouTubes if you'd want it later on as well.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be on YouTube. I want to watch it. I might pick up the Chen again, John. Who knows? Probably not. Too old these days, but you never know. Maybe I'll try. Speed. Rest of the game. Top lane. Kadaro looking at RCY. The RCY says hello. What are we thinking? Just a quick fatal bombs and a TP out. Very unfortunate for Mixer, though. He lost a massive courier. That was a full Lotus Orb, I believe, going down the toilet here against Yamsun. So that'll be gone for 2 minutes. They'll even see Mixer, but they won't look to make the jump in because they don't have the lockdown at the moment without their Bane or RCY around. But it looks like Yamsun makes the call. It's Roshan time. Well, why the hell not?
Yeah. Doesn't take too long when you have this massive army from Speed. A few skellies on hand for good measure. And they're just going to have themselves a nice secondary life. Probably just hand it over to RCY. Yamsun wouldn't be too bad. He already has the bar time to play it without that. Yeah, without bar time, you don't really care. Should just be our quap. So now he can just look for these deep dives if he so wishes. Has the Kaya up, not too far off from the full Kaya Sanj. And for OG, again, this is a stall game. You do have the Deso up and running on Shad. Still needs a blink. still needs a little bit more. I mean, again, it's down to having these auxiliary power spikes. Like, Daze does have his blink, so you can try to counteract, say, the grip without risking Stormers too badly. You can try to kind of counter fight a little bit better, get that repositional play going here on the side of OG.
Oh, Shad trying for a TP. You've got Bignum right behind, but he can't break the gap. If he had that Aether Lens up, he might have probably gotten that Nightmare off, but unfortunately for him, still needs 400 for the recipe on the Bane to have the full Aether. One of the lovely things about Bane, John, is just having an... Oh, Stormer. Speaking of the devil, Bignum,
no.
he'll catch out Storm. I was about to say, John, that one thing that's really nice about Bane is once you have Aether Lens up, you just feel like you can do anything with this hero. And that's where Bignum's gone. You really don't need much else when it comes to Bane. Not in these kind of games.
No. Certainly not. Maybe a blink sweetens the deal. Certainly the Aether Lens alone is more than enough, especially if you get a good enchantment later on as well. A little bit more cast range and kind of make it even easier. Yeah,
he's waiting.
I'd like to see how long he hangs on to it, you know, tier 2 into tier 3. Because they will find another.
RCY is trying to make us look stupid when it comes to the standout players, John. RCY, that's enough. We gave you the first one, sir. That's enough. He's now 9-2 on this clock, really making a statement. Now, oh, Shad, rooted twice, is going to be okay. They have the Lotus from Mixer. Does finally get it off that dead courier. Rather, it does finally respawn, I should say. 13k advantage now for Wildcard. They're in no kind of rush to try and push. Although, Fade, out of position, might need a bit of help. Hat does not have Stone either. Fallen right on top of his head, but his team is coming to try and help out. As they've got Stormer. He'll get the Lotus though. He'll be able to zip out of there. He's fine for now, but OG sticking around, seeing if they can find an opening for a good fight. It's not looking too good yet though, but they'll hold their ground. Keep in mind, Fade's still pretty low on mana. Does have 21 charges though, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be willing to take the risk on him again. And in fairness, it was pretty decent commitment. Like, you've already dropped the golden. You probably don't want to force an awkward fight here as OG. But you do still have that big fatal bonds. But Shaddy's alone, John. Shad's alone again. The team split up. Shad's alone. They're going to kill Kadaro top, but look at Shad. He's going to farm the creep wave, but they know exactly where he is. Uh-oh. And there's that Aether I talked about, John, from a mile away. Fiend's Grip, is it even necessary? Meteor Hammer, they're just bullying Shad. Are we going to pop it? Here comes Storm, and maybe they got greedy. Bignum, no, he'll turn around. The last to cancel the Fiend's Grip, though. Maybe they can fight this one out. Stormer getting petrified by the Storm Gaze. Is still going to be able to get up, and no, Fade gets him. Fade does get him, but they'll find Bignum as a trade. Oh, but look at this, John. The Crocus. The Crocus have woken up. Speed, stunning everybody. The Ravage. Shad getting tipped now as Mixer trying to save the game. Meteor Hammer not going to land. They should have speed. They will get it. Fade dropping low to boot here on the mana pool. Needs to TP away. Will be able to do so. That's not that... Well, I say it's not that bad of a fight, John. The RCY and Yamson, they weren't even there. They take the top racks. A 2-for-2. And it's still probably favorable for Wildcard. Yeah, you get 200 more gold on OG, but you gave up your Storm and TA for 2 supports.
Yeah. Now RCY will just find another freebie.
Oh, RCY, stop! Stop!
Can't. You can't?
Enough!
Can't stop. No, he's got to keep going, you know? He had a rough day yesterday. Wants to pop off today, and he certainly is. Currently 10-0-3 on the clock. A perfect game, of course, for RCY. Very close to that full Shivas, and I have to say, just how Wildcard uses the space they create for themselves is just fantastic, right? Like, they take that fight far away, they just focus onto the racks, they still have only a few seconds left in the Aegis, so the timing works out perfectly. They can kind of sit back, relax, although it looks like they won't be relaxing too long.
Set up? They're just setting up too easily here. Well, like, just a nightmare setup?
Yeah.
OG are there, but they'll look to back. Mixer will be okay. Fiend's Grip's up in 10 seconds, though. to be a little bit cautious, and hell, Daze isn't even by his team yet. He's trying to farm a Glimmercade on that Bat Rider at the moment. Almost dying in the process, by the way. He's going to be... Daze, you're scaring me. Daze is really scaring me. Daze is really scaring me. Daze! Don't do it. 1 HP. Oh, he's all right. Daze. No, the creeps. Oh, they're all right. They're not getting that far. He's all right. He's made it.
If they just randomly casted a spell, they just randomly decided to throw a nut out, Mike, or a stun. Now that would have been a messy situation.
Yeah, he's okay though. He has bought out the 4-staff though, so no buyback on the bat. Now Fade's got a full Parasma apparently, so God help on OG's end, though RCY has been caught. This is a big one, but he gets the blink away, and now the Fiends Grip Storm are being caught. The Sonic Wave, it'll take him down so quickly, though he does have buyback, but how do you fight now? They'll try to get Mixer out of there, but Mixer, he's not looking too good. Mixer's gone. Buyback available. They'll commit now, but they're going to lose Daze in the process with no buyback. A Shad's been jumped. Shad, surrounded, is going down so quickly. Shad is gone. Wildcard, not slowing down, going for another in Kadaro. 3 heroes with buyback, they'll all commit, but this could be the final team fight to come here for OGs. They'll try to snipe RCY. He'll still blink away. Do they save him? The Embodied Shield's enough for now. Stormstormer trying, but the Blade Mail's making it hard. Stormstormer can't do it. Stormstormer can't do it. RCY, he'll dance right in front of them as they make a run. Fade is going to get left behind. But by God, they cannot kill this Queen of Pain.
God, that was literally everything out there. Trying to get that kill onto RCY twice over. The initial start of the fight was focused on him. The follow through after the buyback still on him. Still can't die, and this is him without an Aegis as well. Just phenomenal play coming out here for the side of Wildcard, and for OG. Things are getting a little bit desperate here, Mike. All 4 buybacks committed, not finding quite enough to really be satisfied off of that as well. I don't see any big timings that can really line up for this. They just need to coordinate in, right? Like they're not able to really utilize the Snot Rocket. The Dispel's coming out from Yamsun to whoever's up front under threat has been on point with Aphotic Shield. So you're not really getting that max minus armor value here for Shad to try to find a freebie. But try for Tormentor at the least.
They almost lose Shad in the process. It's going to be okay. 9% chance apparently for OG this game, which... I mean, if I was DOTA Plus, I'd be sitting at almost 99% right now, John. Quite frankly, for Wildcard.
Yep.
Not over yet. I mean, OG, they've made bigger comebacks in their history. This is a tough one. I'll repeat what I've said 1,000 times. If they can kill RCY, he's worth like $1 billion gold right now. You know, if you can get that going for you, maybe you get a bit of net worth on your TA or your Storm, and you start to really take off. But it's just not there yet.
No, not quite. And he has some key timings coming in. I believe his Shiva's Courier was snipe out, but he's going for the Linken's next. Once that Linken's up, the one threat you had with the lasso to start or the Vortex disappears. He's going to have a window to just blink away. He's going to have time to react. And he's going to be able to, again, slip away from the grasp of OG if you're not careful. OG, I mean, it was pretty awkward with the Golem usage and the blink out. I think, again, their high ground hold could be strong. With the Fatal Bonds, plus the Golem, plus Upheaval, you just need to be able to bait Wildcard into that position. Wildcard are not pushing the high ground until a team fight outside breaks out. They've been very nice about that. On that siege up top, onto that poke on mid. They're just looking for fights outside first because they do understand how much a lasso...
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Mid lane, Shad is gone. Oh, it just keeps getting worse. Daze is gone. GG is called. Well, geez, John, I don't know what to say about that ending. Very anticlimactic, but Wildcard, props to the boys as they will proceed. And sadly for OG, John.